It is Tuesday, the 8th of March, and this is Sunset News, the program where we bring you the latest news, stories from the community, economic news, weather, as well as sport. I am Ashwin Berry. First up in the news. Consistent, reliable, and clean renewable energy. That is what Renew Stable Swakopmund project promises. The project by HDF Energy will use technologies like solar panels, green hydrogen production and storage, high-power fuel cells, and lithium-ion batteries to produce electricity. Renew Stable Swakopmund will be located at the town, and during the design and construction phases, the estimated investment is 3 billion Namibian dollars. For this project, HDF Energy requires an environmental impact assessment. The first public meeting for the EIA report is scheduled to take place tomorrow at the Swakopmund Plaza Hotel. Now, in what seemed to be unnecessarily complicating matters, the chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee for Natural Resources, Shekero Tweya, seems to suggest that the Legal Assistance Center should come up with a formula which would serve as basis for compensation when land has been unrightfully grabbed by the state. The LAC had reacted to an invitation to present a case on why the state needs to take cognizance of situations and accept responsibility where local, regional, or national authorities have forced landowners off their property, and that government would have to compensate such communal landowners. The LAC had appeared before the committee to make the above case based on a court ruling made by judges DCJ Damaseb, AJA Chomba, and AJA Mohoro in the Supreme Court of Namibia 2017. It insisted that the LAC's role is not that of determining the amount of compensation, but rather to raise awareness amongst lawmakers that they would be held accountable by Namibian courts. In our next story, with love from Russia, a former Namibia academic living in St. Petersburg, Russia, tells Republican how the sanctions are currently affecting the lives of ordinary Russians. He and his Russian wife left Russia temporarily for Northern Ireland, but they plan on returning there after Easter. Now, the liquidator of the Pro-Wealth group of companies and investors who have lost millions of Namibian dollars when the group collapsed in 2009 after the founder and owner Rian Potgieter died of suicide did not succeed with their claim for nearly 60 million Namibian dollars against the Namibia Financial Institutions Supervisory Authority. Agri-inflation jumped from 3.1% in the fourth quarter of 2020 to 10.8% in the fourth quarter of 2021, which is the single highest jump in agricultural production costs since 2016. The surge resulted largely from costs associated with fuel, 30.5%, feed, 17.3%, and maintenance and fixed improvements, 11.6%. This is according to the newly released 2021 fourth quarterly review report by the Namibia Agricultural Union. Now, while climate change is still an unknown concept to more than half of Namibians, those who are aware of it expect far more action from government and other citizens to fight it. According to a recent Afrobarometer survey, only 45% of Namibians have heard of climate change. Among those who are aware of climate change, 49% say it is making life in Namibia worse. The survey found that 7 in 10 people believe that ordinary citizens can help curb climate change, and 2/3 want government to take immediate action to limit climate change, even if it is expensive, causes job losses, or takes a toll on the economy. That brings us to the end of our top stories. Community Talk after the break. Now, the first annual October Charity Foundation donation drive that included handing out previously loved clothing at the old location and in Narraville, Walvish Bay took place over the weekend. Nikano Nangolo was there.
My name is Lydia October. I am the founder of the October Charity Foundation. We are a nonprofit organization that aims to raise awareness around social-related issues such as mental health as well as alcohol and drug abuse. Our programs include hosting vision board meetings, counseling sessions with social workers, therapy sessions, as well as donation drives. Over the weekend, we hosted our first annual donation drive that took place at the old location, otherwise known as Okomboni, as well as in Naraville. We'd like to say thank you to all our volunteers who availed themselves to make this day a success. We want to see more youth partake in social responsibilities as well as a decrease in drug addiction amongst the youth as well as suicide.
Hoe voel je oor vandaag se event?
Want ik gehad het niet. En ik vandaag gekregen.
Is het?
Ja.
Lekker shopping gedaan.
Ja,
Mooi kleren gekregen.
Ananas.
Heb je een nieuwe auto voor die keer gekregen ook?
Dat is dat. Diesela.
Dat is het, oké.
Ik heb nog niet zo gezien.
Hier wat is die? En de ons was waardeer alles wat is staan.
Ja.
Mag je realiseren.
Truly essential work being done by the October Charity Foundation. Now, personally, I love a good cup of rooibos tea, which is why I'm fascinated by the conversation Yolanda now had with Martin Vimas of Tea Time Namibia on the tea culture growing in the country. Have a look.
Tea Time Namibia, as the name suggests, we are all about tea, and we are about loose leaf tea in particular.
What does the tea connoisseur market look like in Namibia?
It's actually, I think it's growing and it's interesting. There is a lot of people that really appreciate tea and that come to us, that make an appointment so that they have got the whole tea shop. We've got 100 different teas in our store, that they've got the whole tea shop for themselves. But there's also people are nosy, they are interested to learn. They want to find out more about tea. And yeah, we kind of see our role a little bit in that as well. I've got a WhatsApp group, and on like the social media channels, I kind of put some information out about the tea to get people more information about the different kind of teas and how they are prepared, how they can be enjoyed, and all that sort of thing.
I see you also have gift bags. Tell us more about that. What is in a gift bag like that?
Yeah, we've kind of put a couple of different gift packs together, a little bit with the idea to kind of call it a starter pack, where we've got, for instance, here, I've got a 2-walled mug, a tea egg, there's a measuring spoon for the tea, there's a little bit of the candy, the crystallized sugar, and then also one typical black tea. It's all sort of conveniently put together, beautiful as a gift pack. And we've varied that theme a little bit. We also have it with different mugs, or we've got one here specifically for kids.
Oh, that's so cute.
You know, where we've got like a little floating duck here that is used as your tea sieve. And then I've put in an organic strawberry banana cream tea here that's ideal for children. You know, it's also good, I think, when kids learn to drink tea without any sugar, rather than all these sweetened drinks and that sort of thing that
Exactly.
kids normally get.
That brings us to the end of our community talk. Now, in the story of the day after the break, we are in Gobabis and we'll be speaking about fish consumption. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with Sunset News. Let's get into your story of the day. Headman Wallace Finnies of Gobabis talks about how the ministry can help in the promotion of fish consumption in the Omaheke region. Yolanda Nell has more.
I speak to Headman Wallace Finnies of Gobabis about the Fish Consumption Trust. The fish consumption container should, according to him, not be placed in the middle of Gobabis, but rather in Rakatuka, because the residents who consume the fish need to walk in order to get the fish. And he says if they don't walk to the town, the container will be closed. Finney says the Fish Consumption Trust is a trust that promotes the eating and consumption of fish because it is healthy, and that fish should actually be cheaper than meat. But the fish in Gobabis is very expensive. Even if you try to promote the fish, the people can't afford it. He expects the Ministry of Fisheries to donate a number of boxes of fish to each region on a regular basis. According to him, we have the most fish on the mainland, but nothing happens. What does fish mean to Gobabis? He asked. The same problem arises in the Omaheke region on a regular basis. Oil and gold have been discovered in the region, but what will this mean for the people? The foreigners come, open a mine, and the Namibians just have to work. The Namibian products are used against us as Namibians, he said, because physically we don't get any benefit. And the leaders just shrug their shoulders and say they will come back, but they don't ever do. And if they come back, it is with nothing concrete.
That was our story of the day. Now, because Namibia is heavily dependent on imports, Namibia will always be vulnerable to import inflation. That and more after the break in our economic news. This is still Sunset News, and these are your economic news stories. A country like Namibia, which heavily depends on imports, will always be vulnerable to imported inflation. Hence, boosting local food production is of critical importance. The high dependence on food imports in Namibia remain a concern due to rising external uncertainties, such as geopolitical tensions, coupled with spurring energy prices. This has an important implication for high costs of living and high costs of production across industries, including the agriculture sector, Agribank said. Now, the Development Bank of Namibia has issued a new bond, DBN 29, with a face value of 130 million Namibian dollars. The 7-year bond was issued via private placement on 4 March 2022, and it matures on 5 March 2029. DBN 29 was issued with a spread of 240 basis points above the 3-month Johannesburg Interbank average rate, meaning it will pay interest quarterly at 2.4% above the average rate at which banks buy and sell money. Let's have a look at your economic indicators. The Namibian dollar is down against most major currencies. On the Namibian Stock Exchange, MTC is down with 0.10% and Namibian Breweries is down with 0.01%. Paratus is up with 0.10% and SBN Holdings as well as the local and overall index are down. All commodities are up, with oil rising another 4.1%. We'll be looking at your weather after the break.
Go far with Paratus. Go further with Paratus Fiber. Paratus, offering high-speed, reliable fiber connectivity, starting from only 599 Namibian dollars per month. Unlimit your lifestyle and visit na.paratus.africa for more information.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Now, in your weather, we start off with good news from southern Namibia. The level of the Nalte Dam close to Keetmanshoop this morning again reached 108.3%, resulting in the opening of its sluices from about 10 o'clock this morning. Good rains have already filled this dam more than once during the current season. Water was being let out of the dam at a rate of 300 cubic meters per second, and authorities have also warned farmers, residents, and travelers south of the dam wall to be prepared for a rise in flows downstream. Now let's have a look at tomorrow's predictions. Clouds in the northeast, while the rest of the north will mostly have sunshine. Oshakati and Ruacana are still the hottest in the north. Now, a large part of the south will be partly cloudy. The central coast stays between 17 and 22 degrees, and the hottest place in the south is Mariento at 35 degrees. After the break, we'll be looking once again at the Russia and Ukraine crisis in our international news. This is still Sunset News, and this is your international news story. Buildings were damaged by shelling in the northeastern Ukrainian city of Sumy, and rescue workers carried people out of the rubbles. Video released by Ukrainian authorities on Monday showed teams of rescue workers were seen in video from the Ukraine Ministry of Internal Affairs looking through rubble and debris from damaged buildings and carrying people on stretchers away from the scene. Piles of rubble and twisted metal and tree branches could be seen in the video from the State Emergency Services of Ukraine. The walls and gate of one of the houses seen in the video match the satellite and street view photography of the area. At least 21 civilians, including 2 children, were killed in a Russian airstrike on a residential street in Sumy late on Monday, the regional prosecutor's office said in a statement today. The bodies were recovered by emergency services early on Tuesday in searches which are ongoing, it said. Now, after the break, we'll be back with your sport news.
The MyNA Property Show provides viewers with the best-in-class property content, from looking for the perfect house to transforming it to the perfect home, with focus on interior designing, transforming your garden into a tranquil haven, to going green and having the funds and security of financing and insurance. The MyNA Property Show has it all. Tune in and make your house a home with our monthly MyNA Property Show on Wednesday evenings at 6:30 on all the NMH Facebook platforms and our website TV channel 1up2, 1up2.com.
Thank you for staying with Sunset News. Let's get into your sport. The Eagles of Namibia kicked off their second match campaign in the Tri-Nations Cricket World Cup League 2 series in Dubai against United Arab Emirates. This after they defeated Oman with 110 runs in their opening match on Sunday. Netball Namibia's Vice President of Marketing and Sponsorships, Rebecca Hoa-Hoses, said round 2 matches of the MTC Namibia Netball Premier League showed there will be tough competition amongst teams throughout the season. The MTC NNPL held its round 1 and 2 matches for the 2022 season over the weekend at the Patrick Iyambo Police College in Windhoek. Hoa-Hoses said the first round matches, which were on Saturday, looked like a walkover for most of the teams, but Sunday fixtures showed a different score margin. Now we get into some rugby. Namibia Rugby Union President Corey Mensah has said the decision by Rugby Africa President Khaled Babou to give the rights of hosting the 2022 Rugby Africa Cup to France was fraudulent. Mensah said Namibia had expressed interest in hosting the tournament, but Babou ignored the country's plea. France declared they will be hosting this tournament on 7 September 2021, but the Rugby Africa Exco only voted on 10 September, allegedly after various committees submitted their respective recommendations by 9 September. How does Babou explain this? He asked. All right, that brings us to the end of our sports stories. After the break, we'll be wrapping up a nice highlights package just for you.
The MyNA Property Show provides viewers with the best-in-class property content, from looking for the perfect house to transforming it to the perfect home, with focus on interior designing, transforming your garden into a tranquil haven, to going green and having the funds and security of financing and insurance. The MyNA Property Show has it all. Tune in and make your house a home with our monthly MyNA Property Show on Wednesday evenings at 6:30 on all the NMH Facebook platforms and our website TV channel 1up2, 1up2.com.
Thank you for staying with Sunset News through the last half hour. We understand you might just be getting back home from work, and so we have a highlights package giving you a short summary of the news stories from today. In our first highlight, consistent, reliable and clean renewable energy. That is what the Renew Stable Swakopmund project promises. For this project, HDF Energy requires an environmental impact assessment. The first public meeting for the EIA report is scheduled to take place tomorrow at the Swakopmund Plaza Hotel. Now, in what seemed to unnecessarily complicate matters, the chairman of the Parliamentary Standing Committee for Natural Resources, Shekero Tweya, seemed to suggest that the Legal Assistance Center should come up with a formula which would serve as basis for compensation when land has been unrightfully grabbed by the state. In the last of our highlights, with love from Russia, a former Namibian and academic living in St. Petersburg, Russia, tells Republican how the sanctions are currently affecting the lives of ordinary Russians. He and his Russian wife left Russia temporarily for Northern Ireland, but they plan on returning there after Easter. And with that, we have come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook and all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneup2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. I am Ashwin Berry. This has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.